Welcome to another edition of Spooky Stories You Can't Explain.
Oh,
that was good, Sarah. This one involving our boss, who's actually in studio with us right now.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Can't wait to see Brian disagree with our boss on air here in about 1 minute.
No, he's not even my boss right now. He's just some conspiracy theorist dude.
So if you can't tell, I am a big believer in all things that are like unexplainable. You know, why not? Kyle is there with me. He's more in the middle.
Yeah.
And I believe that Brian is what you would call a healthy skeptic.
So Chris, there is a spirit, an entity, if you will, something that you saw in, I don't want to say dream.
It's a hallucination.
Because Brian will say that here in a moment. But explain the Hat Man thing that other people may have experienced in their own life a long time ago in their life.
Okay, so I'm not an expert on what the Hat Man is, but I can tell you what I experienced, which was this. So this must have been about 6 years ago. I was lying in bed, asleep, presumably. My wife is on my right side.
This is before you got a sleep number.
Way before.
Okay.
It was actually
Very important detail.
Way before. You're right. That's why he hasn't come back. He's like, oh, I'm not messing with that guy. He's got a sleep number back.
He's rested.
Yeah, that guy's really sleeping. I'm not going in there. So in the middle of the night, I just felt something, like there was something in the room. And I sat up in bed. I looked to my right on my wife's side, and there was a shadowy figure that looked like what I would call like a 1960s government G-man, I guess they called him, right? So this is literally no detail, just a shadow, a fedora hat, what looked like could be like a trench coat, though no detail, and it's just literally standing there staring at me.
It was just a black shadow.
Yeah.
And had you ever heard of the Hat Man prior to this?
No. No idea.
See,
no idea. I just had this feeling something was in the room. I sat up, and there it was.
And so I watch a lot of ghost shows, much to my husband's chagrin.
This is a real thing, by the way, what
it
he's
is. That's
speaking
what I was
about.
going to say. Like, there's a lot of sightings of this Hat Man, and it's been this way for hundreds of years. Like, this Hat Man just shows up. Yeah, so this is a thing that you saw, but it's a common sighting, which is fascinating to me.
Yeah, like it happened. Like I know what I saw. I know what I experienced. I can't tell you why or how or what it could be like a bunch of different things, right? I'm a very scientific person, so I used
to think so.
Come on. I didn't talk about this
Get ready to get
for
real
years.
frustrated with Brian.
Wait a second. So did you tell people instantly, or you said you waited a while?
I told my wife.
Okay, did you tell others?
No.
How long did it take you to start talking about this?
Years.
Why did you wait years to share this story?
Because I didn't want to scare my kids.
Oh, that makes sense.
And I just didn't need anybody thinking that there was something in our house. And I think I was trying to figure out what happened?
Yeah.
What is this?
See, this is what I don't like about these stories, is because they perpetuate real fear when there's no real fear to be had. What happened was a simple hallucination. You were probably super tired, and your brain made out a figure as a defense mechanism or a fear response that's totally biological. And so all of a sudden, it's this Hat Man who wears a 1950s fedora, even though he's hundreds of years old.
It's just
he
a
was
wide
just
brim
on
hat.
with the fashion.
It's just
way
a
long
wide
ago.
brim hat. That's what the sightings typically
Well,
are,
that's
a
the
wide
thing.
brim hat.
There's always a something that gives the spooky character, which is why it's a great ghost story and not real. It's not like all these shadow figures shop at, Shadow Mart to buy the scariest looking shadow people thing to scare us all. Like, what would their purpose be? What's their motivation? Chris, like when you think about it, why did the Shadow Man appear to you? Just to scare the piss out of you?
In retrospect, I read something about them showing up at significant events. So the only thing that was significant in my life at that time is that within the next 6 months, I actually lost my job, which is the first time I've ever lost a job in my life. So listen, I can go back, right? Revisionist history. Oh, that happened because of that happened. It meant this. I'm not saying that's a fact or anything, but that did happen in that way. And it is interesting, but I can't explain to you what happened or how it happened, but I can only tell you that it did.
Chris, you are somebody like you said a second ago, a logical person, somebody that needs an explanation for things. So when you went
I think
to
that's
try
part
to,
of the problem.
So when you tried to find, because when I Googled the Hat Man, there are different reasonings why this might happen. So when you went down this road, what did you find?
I didn't do that for a while.
I'm
Really?
surprised.
You
Yeah,
were that
it
spooked
took
out
me.
by
I
it.
was really spooked out. Yeah,
Wow.
it was just a
What?
weird thing.
Did
it was
fit-
weird.
So when you saw this shadow, like was it solid? Like when you like?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It was almost like looking at a cardboard cutout that was just completely dark.
Huh?
Like it wasn't floaty, it wasn't hovering, it was just
It
standing
just looked like
there.
a person, but was a shadow.
Yeah, but there wasn't any detail. You couldn't tell it was wearing anything. It was just this dark, shadowy figure just standing
That's
still,
creepy.
not moving. It
And
was
what's
just watching
crazy?
you.
What's crazy is when you Google something about the Hat Man, there are a lot of stories about this
It's a
because
super common sighting.
who else has experienced the Hat Man that our boss is mentioning in studio right now? Because when you Chat GPT this, it says that it often happens during sleep paralysis. Did it happen during that state?
No, I was not.
Okay.
But
You
sleep.
weren't frozen.
But
No.
there's several different reasons that you could hallucinate a shadowy figure, or your brain could put that together. And as far as the multiple sightings, I mean, it's confirmation bias. You see something like that, you're scared, and you look for a reason why it's not so scary, or you just want somebody to have experienced the same thing as you. So then you get all this confirmation bias, people saying, oh, I've had something like that.
But he
And
didn't at the
I've had
time.
something, I've had something, I've had something like that. And then all of a sudden, it's a scary story that we all believe is real when it's simply a brain trick. You know?
Maybe.
that could be true, but also
Like deja vu.
that could be true, but also could be a Hat Man.
So 6 years later, this is now 6 years later. How do you explain it when you tell people?
Well, I just did.
And Brian hasn't let it die yet, just so
yeah,
you know.
I don't know. I don't really talk about it very much. It only came up because I think it came up in
Yeah.
a meeting
It
last
came
week.
up because my son is listening right now, and I know he wants me to mention this.
Yeah.
For Halloween, he wants to be the Hat Man.
Don't come to my house.
Here, one more question.
That'd be a fun April Fool's, though.
What's keeping you from convincing yourself that it's a hallucination? That this isn't some sort of supernatural scary thing, that this is simply a brain trick?
I don't feel like I need to convince myself one way or another. It's just a thing that I experienced. I think it's interesting. Scientifically, there might be some logical explanation, or there might not be. And I'm okay with either way. I don't care.
Regardless, it happened.
Regardless, you've also inspired Luca to be the Hat Man for Halloween, Chris. Didn't expect that this month. But yeah, that would be a fun Halloween prank. Chris, thank you for coming in studio to share that spooky story you can't explain. And as we mentioned it, we are curious, though, anybody listening right now that has also experienced the Hat Man and what Chris is talking about, can anybody else confirm what Chris is saying? Like, oh, yeah, I also saw the Hat Man, and it's a real thing. I can't explain it. 919-860-1015. It's Kyle, Brian, and Sarah on Mix. It's one
Bunch
of our...
confirmation bias.
Exactly.
Oh, it's real.
There'll
it's real,
never
I
be a
swear.
story he'll believe.
I swear.
It's one of our favorites, Marilyn. Good morning, Marilyn.
My son and I both saw the Hat Man at the same time.
Oh,
We came
my
out of a
gosh.
restaurant in Rocky Mount, and we looked across Highway 301, and he was standing there. But it was the exact same thing that Chris was talking about. Exact.
Wait, so
But he
this
had
didn't happen
red
when you were
eyes.
sleeping? You were awake?
You can see him
No,
anywhere.
sir. We came out of a restaurant, wide awake, looked across 301, and there he was, stood right there. But he had red eyes.
Oh,
Swear to God. And then an 18-wheeler rode by, and he was gone.
I believe you.
And
Brian
my
is like
son-
rolling his eyes.
How many Hat Men are
Brian,
there?
you said- Becky,
How do they
you
choose
could
where
roll.
to pop up? Why? Why?
Okay, my son and I both saw him at the exact same time, at the exact same place, swear to God. And if you called him right now and asked him, he remembers it vividly. And then we had all kinds of creepy things happen in our house anyway, but that was a definite. And if it was just me, I could say, well, it was a blur, it was a fog, it was a whatever. But it was both of us at the same time.
What time of day did this happen?
It was at night. It was dark. It was after sunset. It was dark. So I don't know if it was, I can't remember if it was wintertime and it was 6 o'clock or if it was summertime and it was, well, it had to be in the winter because the restaurant closed early.
Okay, so
So,
What do you think he wanted with you? Why did he choose that spot just to scare you both? Of all things that the Hat Man could be doing, he said, this side of the road to scare these two. I'm going to stand here and just hope they see me. I've got nothing else better to do tonight.
it was on the opposite side of the highway.
But why?
So they were-
What's his motivation?
I have no idea. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Marilyn, thank you
thank
for the call.
sharing.
Listen, there are
Yeah,
things
no,
that you
Brian.
can't understand. Brian will never agree or understand this.
Never.
What were you about to say, Marilyn?
Well, like opinions are like, so Brian, sweetie, I love you, but until you've experienced it, don't claim it, babe.
Exactly.
When we turn off the mic, I'll finish that analogy for him.
Bye, Marilyn.
I know
Thanks
the
for
analogy,
listening.
and I'm applying it to all of you guys.
Sarah and I over here, thank you, Marilyn, for calling. Don't mind Brian. Sarah and I over here, want to believe this. We
Yeah,
want to
why
play.
not?
We want to play the Exorcist theme song.
Fun.
Meanwhile, this is how Brian wants to talk about the Hat Man.
It's about a
Hat Man!
Hat Man!
Hat Man.
I love how all dark entities.
Wait a second. Go ahead, Brian.
I like how all dark entities, they're all like dressed the same too. That's how I know they're human created, because he wears a wide brimmed hat and a dark trench coat, because those are scary too. Trench coats are very scary. Like, give me a dark entity dressed like Jimmy Buffett. I need an entity with a personality so you can show me variety in that this isn't
It's
just a
always the
human
same.
created
It's always the same
thing.
person.
Yeah. It's
Do we
always
have-
those scary things. He's
Do
dressed
we-
like scary.
Do we have somebody else right now that wants to say they saw the Hat Man?
Hi. Actually, I never saw the Hat Man, but my daughter mentioned it when she was like about 5 years old.
What'd she say? What happened?
So we moved here from Pennsylvania. I've never heard of the Hat Man before. I actually was just listening to the station, and I heard the gentleman mention the Hat Man, and it just brought back these memories. My daughter's 12 now, so she went to Ballantyne Elementary School. And when she was in kindergarten, she came home one day and told me that she met a new friend. And I said to her, "Who is your friend?" And she said, "It's the Hatman family." And I said, "Oh, and who are they?" And she said, "They're a family that lives behind the school in the field." And I said, "I don't understand." I said, "There's only trees behind the school. What do you mean? What field are you talking about?" And she said, "They live in the field, and they come to the fence and talk to me." She mentioned it probably about 4 or 5 times that she had spoken with this family. And just listening to the radio station, I thought, oh, my goodness, my daughter used to talk about the Hatman family. And I just assumed that maybe it was just a child from school. But she mentioned that she spoke to the father and the mother, and there was about 2 or 3 children she used to talk about that she used to communicate with on multiple occasions.
Did you ever ask the teachers at school if they saw her talking to a rando family on the other side of the fence?
It's funny because I never really even thought about it, because my daughter, I was kind of freaked out by it a little bit, but my daughter used to talk about seeing people all the time.
Sounds like she might
I
have
never
the
knew
gift.
if I believed it or not.
Gift.
But she would stare at me and say, "Mommy, there's someone standing behind you," and things like that. So I was like, is she just playing jokes on me?
Yeah.
But, I really didn't even think about it until I just heard the station say the Hatman family, and I never put the connection together. I never heard of this
There
Hatman
it is.
before.
Wow, I thought
What
it
a
only happened.
story.
I guess thought it happened during, bedtime while you were asleep. I did not know this happened when people were awake during the day. Thank you for calling. You have a good Tuesday, okay?
Yeah, and I might be
Thank
calling
you,
that
too.
school to
Bye.
see if a family's coming in and starting talking to the kids midday.
Exactly.
Well,
Thank
the
you.
funny thing is I kept thinking that maybe she was talking about her principal at first, because his name is Hackman.
Ah.
But
Funny.
my husband kept telling me, no, she kept saying Hatman. And I was like, that's so bizarre to
That
me.
is bizarre.
Hey,
And
thank you for
spooky.
calling. That's crazy. You have a good Tuesday.
Thank you, you too.
Brian, don't hit the button. Don't hit it. Don't hit it. Okay.
Hatman! There he is at Ballantyne. It's Hatman! In his family of
You're the worst.
Batman!
You are the worst.
Hey!
Mix on time traffic driven by Brent Adams and Associates.